Okay, so welcome everybody to Graystone's VIP training today. My name is Michael Kernodle. I am the Greystone Brokerage Manager. And today I have a special treat for you. You probably saw all the advertisement. You're super excited about our VIP program. We're going to have some special guests here today to give us some testimonies of this program as well. So if you're here, can you just give me a thumbs up and make sure that's working? Because we want plenty of feedback. We want plenty of questions. Take plenty of notes. Of course, we're going to record this, but hey, you made it here live. You made this a priority, and that's what's important. So I'm not going to delay this anymore. We're going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to turn it over to our acquisitions manager, Cody Bergstrom.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael, for the very awesome introduction. Thank you all for being here today and taking up a little bit of your time. I promise I'm not going to take too long, but we've got a brief presentation to answer some questions that I've heard multiple times about our VIPs, about commissions, about how to get permission to share properties. So we're going to touch on all three of those things tonight. So without further ado, I want to introduce you guys to one of our VIP clients, Mr. Corey Whitaker. Corey, I'm going to ask if you could go ahead and unmute yourself. If you want to come on, say hello, and just introduce yourself to the crowd. There he is. If you want to kind of take it away, just tell a little bit about yourself and share, and we'll roll into kind of sharing your experience as a VIP client here in a second.
Great. Thank you, Cody. And Cody was the first person from the team who I spoke with, and a great ambassador and representative for Greystone. You guys are lucky to have Cody with you. But yeah, I'm Corey Whitaker. My wife and I, we live here in Tampa Bay, married, 2 kids. And my background is actually at the nexus of business and education. I was part of a couple startups, but for the greater part of the last decade, I was the CEO of a public charter school system here in this country and multiple states. And over the last couple of years, I've been running a blockchain software company called ENS.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And then I'm proud to say, Corey, that we've had such a great relationship so far, and how successful it has been in your short-lived but very productive real estate journey. Can you tell everybody how many properties that you've bought through Greystone so far?
Yeah. So backing up a little bit, as I'm sure many of us, like decades ago, I read real estate books, saw these programs about no money down, real estate, how to build an empire, this, that, and the other. So I've been reading stuff for quite some time. My wife and I, between us, we've had several real estate transactions over the last 4 years, actually, eight sides. But this year we decided to really create a company. So we created an LLC, and we decided to dig deep into real estate investing. And we closed on 2 properties in July through Greystone, and now we have 3 more properties under contract.
How many doors are we up to now? What is it, 9 or
7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 doors. Yep.
Seven doors. And when did we sign? In August? Your agreement, I believe.
We actually signed in June.
Was it June?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. We signed in June, and then we started looking at properties end of June, early July. Closed on the first 2 end of July 30th.
That's awesome. And then what would you say your game plan is with Greystone looking forward? How many would you say we would be at in next by next June?
Yeah, by next June. So we got a very quick start, and so what we're planning on doing initially when we started, we thought we'd try and do like one deal a month. So let's say between 10 to 12 properties within the year.
That's awesome. And then I got two more questions for you. The first being, how has your experience been as a VIP client so far, and what's something that you really like about working with us here at Greystone?
Yeah, so it's been fantastic, really fantastic, and just such an easy start. You know, if I think about all of the learning I would have to do, my wife and I would have to do by ourselves to get the knowledge, skills, and experience that you all have provided for us. Like it would have taken us, I don't know how long, to get up to 7 doors. Right? So I think the knowledge you all have, the experience you have, and extremely communicative. So we communicate via the WhatsApp group, and you know, it's not like you're just working with one individual. There's a whole team of people that you're working with on the acquisition side, on the property management side, you name it. So we feel very supported. We feel like we're in the hands of experts, and we trust you guys. So
That means so much to hear, Corey. We really appreciate that. And then lastly, what was your motivation in investing in real estate, and why Greystone?
Yep. So I was thinking about this in terms of searching for VIP clients, right? Because there's lots of things that we could do to deploy income and to invest, whether it's stocks and bonds, starting a franchise, you name it. But I wanted to preserve wealth, build cash flow, and protect against taxation. Really, to have so those are some of the key things, and you get to accomplish all of that through real estate investing. And so, yeah, that's why we decided to jump into that this year. And with regard to Greystone, I was looking at several wholesalers and other companies that say they do this type of work. I think what is helpful for you all is that I think your social media presence is great, actually. So keep on doing that, YouTube videos, Facebook, etc. So you have a very strong presence there. So when people like me are looking around and searching and trying to figure out what is what, I think that adds a lot of credibility there. And you're educating too through your website. There's a lot of education that Jorge puts out there, which is great.
Yeah, we just had our most recent training on AI and the new age of marketing and social media and how prevalent it is, in today's market. So that's awesome. I really, really appreciate you sharing all that with us, Corey. Again, I want to thank you for your time today and sharing your experience with all the agents, the MLOs here, and just everybody on the call. So thank you so much again.
All right. Thank you all. Let's go Team Greystone.
Well, real quick, Corey, before you leave, I think Jorge might have one quick question for you, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I just want to say thank you for being here, my friend. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too, man.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. Let me ask you a question. So you came to us, you said social media, but do you remember, was it through Google? You typed something like, I'm always curious to know. Do you remember?
I don't remember a particular term, but there was another company, a couple of the companies that I was looking at and researching, and you came up. So something about your search engine optimization is working. Yeah.
Always good to hear.
Well, thank you for the business a lot. And I wanted to ask if there's anybody that has any questions for Corey before we let him go. Thank you for the time again.
Yeah. Happy to answer any questions.
Now is the time if you want to throw a hand up if you have any questions for Mr. Whitaker here before we let him go. Now would be the time. Going once, going twice. All righty. Well, awesome. Corey, thanks again. Again, really appreciate it.
I'm sorry, Cody. I did have a question for Corey. Hey, Corey, this is Annie.
Hey.
Hey, thank you so much for being part of this. Awesome. Always awesome to hear our investors come through. But question, have you been also leveraging our other services, i.e. the lending,
Yes,
PM shop? And how's your
yes.
experience been with that?
Yes, it's like the vertical integration is fantastic. So the acquisition to the lending piece, which I discovered a little bit later that it was actually part of the Greystone family. The lending, and then we're onboarded onto the project management piece with our two properties in South Florida. So I think that vertical integration is super helpful as well. Again, like what would my wife and I have done, even if we had secured a property?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, to learn to get up to speed on property management, we just wouldn't have the time or resources to do that. I'm running a business, and we have a 6-month-old now, so
Wow. Yeah.
yeah, working with y'all has just been very, very helpful for us.
That's
It's a great
awesome.
question.
Thank you. Yeah, we
Yeah.
do have a great team. Just wanted to give them kudos. Thank you,
Yeah.
Corey. Appreciate you.
Thank you for the question, Annie. That was awesome.
I have
Anybody
one
else?
question for Corey. So, Corey, after you've had this great experience, first of all, thank you for joining us. Have you shared your experience with anybody else? You know, family members, friends, or other coworkers?
Yeah, family members definitely. So yeah, they know, and also one of my former colleagues who's actually in real estate, but he's buying commercial properties right now. But I told him about Greystone, so if when he gets there, I'll definitely give you guys a call when he's ready. But yeah, he's doing commercial office stuff right now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael, for the question.
Hey, Corey,
Any
young
last
kid,
answers?
that does commercial here in Greystone. So if you ever need a contact, that's me.
Okay, Leo.
Absolutely. Corey, I'll get you Leo's contact information here after we conclude, and make sure we can get you all in touch so you have a commercial contact over here at Greystone Real Estate. Okay.
All right, sounds good.
Awesome. All right. Last questions. I know Corey's, I think, out spending some family time or at some sort of practice, so we don't want to keep him too long.
It's my
Jorge,
son's birthday. He just finished a football game.
it's his son's birthday, and he's spending some time with us for this presentation. Corey, that means the world. Jorge, you have your hand up, but I'm not hearing anything, so I'm going to let Corey go unless you come off mute here any second.
No, thank you again. Go enjoy your family, Corey. Thank you for the time. I really
All right.
appreciate it.
Take care.
Thank you so much, Corey. Have a great night.
Bye. Bye.
See ya. Wow. I love hearing from Corey. I mean, also the time that he's just taken away from family to spend here with us. That's just awesome. He's one of my favorite clients. I got to have his first onboarding call with Corey, like he had mentioned. And he was honestly he was the first client I brought into Greystone. So love Corey, super appreciative to him that he came on. Annie, thank you for that awesome question. It's also super important. He didn't even realize lending gig was a part of Greystone until like his second transaction. But yeah, let's move on into sort of the core of the presentation tonight. So he covered most of it. I mean, it's what is a VIP? He's such a good example of what a VIP is to me, because he's not necessarily somebody who's been in real estate forever, doesn't have an immense amount of time on his hands, and really relies on Greystone for everything that we offer for our clients, the true collective, the true one-stop shop. You'll hear me, if you're ever in the office, you'll hear me say that on pretty much all the client relation calls I do, right? I push our unique selling points. What makes us unique? What sets us apart from basically any other real estate group or investment group out there? Awesome. So what is our VIP program? Make sure we're on the right slide here. Awesome. So what makes us unique about our VIP program, right? There's a lot of other wholesale operations that offer off-market properties, right, out there. However, do those corporations or groups offer exclusivity for those properties? Nobody else out there, to my knowledge, to Jorge's knowledge, offers a first dibs program or an exclusivity where those VIPs actually get 48 to 72 hours of first dibs period, if you will, where they have priority. on those potential offers. And I talk to a whole bunch of investors every day. The biggest challenge that they share with me is finding solid off-market deals that fit their buy box, that work for them, and that are good. And to be able to pounce on those before they're gone. And I'm not sure if the agents feel the same, or if that's like a shared feeling, but it's something that I see on the daily. Furthermore, with our VIP program, there is an alignment strategy, a real estate consultation. So they might have different strategies as far as I want to do fix and flips, I want to do long-term rentals. And we have different VIP clients with different strategies, right? So it's important for us to sit down with them, make sure that we're a good fit for them, right? Because we're not a good fit for every single person out there in real estate. But we want to find our ideal client. We do have an ideal client, but we take this time to sit down with them, determine their real estate goals, where they want to go, what they want their portfolio to look like, and advise them on the best way to get there. Furthermore, you heard Corey bring up the collective, right? The team environment. Who else out there is offering a real estate brokerage, lending in-house, property management for when you're going to want to do your long-term rentals, and an acquisition department that's finding properties catered to your buy box with you in mind when we're looking for those properties? Not a lot of companies are out there doing that. So the team effort is a huge selling point for VIPs, right? And if the agents out here that are present, even the MLOs that are here that are present, whether you also have an agent license or whether you have connections with people who either, like Corey, have a good amount of income and need to take advantage of making that money work so they're not getting hit with major tax hits, or whether they're experienced in real estate, whatever it is, if they don't have the time on their hands to be able to find that property. I speak to people who put 6-8 hours in a day to looking for off-market deals, right? Not a lot of people can do that. We're a team that's going to cater to you and find the properties that are best fitting for your overall investment strategy, right? And also we cater to out-of-state and foreign nationals. That's a huge selling point as well, right? Because Anthony Santos, one of the other VIPs we recently signed, he closed on a property today, mobile notary. He lives in New York. He can't come down here and look at a property. Me and Jorge went on separate occasions to go look at that property ourselves to ensure it was a good fit for him, to make sure it fit his investment strategy. So we go above and beyond for the VIPs. The American Express experience is what you'll hear myself or Jorge say about what that program should look like and the treatment those clients should receive. And then lastly, the last thing I can think of presently is vetted vendors, right? We've been working with vendors in the Tampa area for years and years and years. We're going to basically give you access to that Rolodex, if you will. I always make fun of Jorge for saying that because I don't feel like many people use that word anymore, or I don't anyway. But access to that Rolodex of vendors, and you're going to get roofers, AC people. Corey saved $4,000 on one AC replacement on his last deal. VIP membership is a 4K. Silver plan is a 4K annual agreement. They got their money back on just that deal. And if you don't know specifically how that works, I didn't have this in the presentation, but I want to take just a minute to break it down. How I pitch the VIP program is super simple and to the point. If you're going to buy at least 2 properties per year, you're going to pay a 4K membership, 4K VIP agreement. When you buy your first property, you're going to get $2K back. You're going to get a $2K discount. When you buy your second property, you're going to get an additional $2K discount. You're recouping your $4K investment of what the VIP program costs by accomplishing your goal, which was to purchase 2 properties in a 12-month period. I get all the time, that's too good to be true. That doesn't make sense, blah, 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 blah. But it is. That's the deal. It's not too good to be true. It's how we weed out the tire kickers. I mean, we have over 30,000 investors in that database that are bombarding us with emails when we send off-market deals out. And we can't cater to everybody. That's why the VIP program exists. It helps us target who our true buyers are, and helps us focus on the individuals that we need to be focusing on. Annie, you have a question?
I do. Can you say that again? So
Yep.
it's 4,000 for that silver plan, and
Yes.
then what is the 2,000 kickback?
Yep.
Not
So,
kickback, but you know what I mean. Go ahead.
and I don't solidify, it's a kickback, it's a discount, it's a credit, because we're pretty flexible. On some, we'll put it on the front end. Other deals, we can put it on the back end. It really doesn't matter. The big selling point is you're going to pay $4K up front. At that point, they come in, we set out their game plan, their approach. We do the real estate consultation, figure out their buy box. It starts a 12-month timeline. When they purchase the first one, let's say it's a 250K property, they're going to get it for 248. So they're going to get a 2K discount. When they purchase the second, they're going to get their second 2K back. So they're going to recoup all $4,000 once they purchase 2 properties.
Okay. Now, if they purchase 3 and 4,
When they purchase 3 and 4, there is no additional discount off the purchase price because they've already recouped the membership amount.
Gotcha.
But really, that's what we do to weed out the tire kickers. And then, like I said, the brief example I just gave with Corey, right? It's not a guarantee they're going to get discounts by using our vendors. But in a lot of cases, we're able to get them work at a lesser price than most.
Okay. And then I don't know if you're going to touch on this later, but for those foreign investors, i.e. in Colombia, Australia, wherever, do you guys help them set up their LLCs here?
We do.
How does that work?
And that's considered a gold tier VIP program. There's 3 levels. There's bronze, silver, and there's gold. Bronze is 2K. Bronze is more of maybe somebody who's already a handyman or has the vendor connections, who has those connections, and they don't need as much the whole collective per se. I mean, they could still use lending. We're still going to refer to property management and everything like that, but they might not rely on our vendor connections because they already have connections. So they're really only relying on us to find the off-market properties. So that would be a 2K, and they get 1K discount on the first. They get a 1K discount on the second. The gold tier is for foreign nationals out of state. That's where all the extra work comes in. We're going, Jorge could expand on this a little bit more in detail, but we'll do the extra legwork to set up the LLCs on their behalf when they're out of country like that.
Got it. Thank you.
Absolutely. You're very welcome. Thank you for the question.
So when it comes to the gold membership, it's ideal for investors that are not planning to step on U.S. soil. If they want to invest from their country and they need us to go to the embassy to set ourselves as their registered rep and create an LLC, and we have connections with a couple of local banks that could open up bank accounts. We could open up bank accounts on their behalf, and of course we have a legal team. We'll do all of that. They don't even have to move from China, because we've had a lot of clients from China, Hong Kong. They don't have to do nothing. But it's a little more pricey because there's a lot of crap that we have to do in order for them to be ready to start investing. So I just wanted to bring that up.
So that's good, Jorge. That leads me to another question. So if they're from outside the country and they're not coming in and we're setting it up for them, what's the price of the gold plan and do they get any discounts?
So the price of the gold one is $8,000.
Okay.
And I believe that they get $2,000 per property as well. So they need a little more properties to get their total 8. But don't quote me on that because we changed that recently. But it is $8,000 for the membership.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
The most difficult part is because I adore, by the way, guys, a lot of people shy away from a funky number. When I get a lead and I see a funky number, people shy away from it. I adore funky numbers because that usually they're underserviced. There are people that, from India or from Asia or that been underserviced in the U.S. People don't pay attention at them. So when you do pay attention at them, when you figure out how to save them on your phone and you call them through WhatsApp and they hear you and that phone rings and they're like, "Hello, I'm from Tampa. You matter. You did an inquiry. How can I help?" Those people go. So I love those type of investments. But the biggest challenge they have is I want to invest, but I don't have a U.S. account. And if you don't know how to maneuver through that, try to walk into a Bank of America and say, "Oh, I got a client in China. I want to open up an account." I guarantee you, it's mission impossible unless you have the right connections. So that's where our expertise comes in. And then, of course, creating an LLC because they need to have a lawyer to go to the embassy to request a tax ID number. But we have all of that. We've done that 100 times. So if you have investors, they're foreign nationals, let us know. And to me, that's the biggest benefit. The people that benefit the most are foreign nationals.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you for the clarification, Jorge. And Annie, again, thank you for the question. Any other questions regarding the VIP program benefits, how to sell it? I already shared with Michael sort of a more detailed version of this PowerPoint for any agent, any MLO to refer to for unique selling points in the future. But go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, just not a question. I just wanted to add 2 points. One of them is that if somebody pays you the $4,000 up front, and then we don't find any properties within their buy box throughout the year of their contract, what happens with that $4,000? And then the second thing is what I've heard Jorge say that makes a lot of sense is most VIPs, when they sign up for that silver package for $4,000, by the time the next year comes, they still want to add to their portfolio, but they can probably downgrade to a bronze package because they've already got the vendor connections at that point. So you're not talking about $4,000 annually. It's kind of $4,000 to get started and get to build that network.
Correct. And I say that all the time. We're not in the business of selling memberships, right? We do it to weed out the tire kickers and to figure out who our focus should be on. To your original question, which was if we were to not find the properties that fit their criteria within the 12 months, what would happen? I think this has only ever happened once ever, and it was for a very extremely picky investor. This was before my time within acquisitions here at Greystone, but we've always been very transparent about service as our top priority, and we've always refunded. Well, I can't even say always. In that instance, that one instance, we had refunded the 4K VIP membership cost or charge because we don't want the bad publicity, right? We want to be 100% 5 out of 5 stars on Google, right? That's sort of our thing. So I know we have a question from a consultant, and that's the second time I've seen that pop up. I'm not sure if that's linked to Annie or if that's another individual. If they have a question, go ahead.
No, that's me, Corey. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for this presentation. This is Esther. I just have a quick question in reference to the VIP status. It is my understanding that the benefit comes from the fact that they're able to access the vendor team. Is that what it entails, basically?
The VIP status overall, I mean, that's one small portion. I wouldn't say that that's a main selling, the main selling point, right? The main thing with VIPs is getting the first dibs on off-market properties, having a game plan, a real estate consultation from a collective such as we are.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for the
Thank
presentation.
you. Of course. Thank you for the question.
Yeah, so I'm not a consultant. I'll leave that to Queen Esther. But on that end, I did want to ask, you mentioned your ideal client. Who is the ideal investor?
So, Jorge, do you want to? I know you have your hand up on this one. I can take this one, or if you want to take the ideal client question, feel free to.
that you can take them all. I just wanted to add in regards to the membership. It is also obviously tied to off-market properties. It is obviously tied to vetted vendors. They're both important, but it's more tied to the investor the professional investor that doesn't have the time to put everything together. And when you think about what Corey said, I could probably figure it out. It's just I don't have the time. I think that my time is better used making the millions that he makes a year, and then let the professionals find the property. So the fact that we could save them a ton of time, to me, is number one. The fact that we can bet in, the vendors, that's number two. The fact that we could provide them off-market deals with legit sellers, right? Because how many times some of us find what it seems to be an okay deal, and all of a sudden when you make an offer, the guy didn't have the property under contract, or it's daisy chain where there's like 10 people involved. So we're able to remove all of the noise, all of the crap, and we provide you with one centralized location where we do everything. I always tell Cody this, and he gets mad. It's like, it's not that necessarily we have the best properties, it's the package. It's like, no, we got good properties. We do have good properties. But if you were to put the highest value of what we do is the fact that the client could do it from the lazy sofa, aside from having to make decisions of insurance, taxes, rehab quotes, if they want to upgrade something, downgrade something. But besides that, they don't have to do anything else. They can do it from the couch. And when you think about it, it becomes almost like opening a business, but it's run by somebody else. You're opening a franchise and it's run practically by somebody else. So your input is very little. So I just wanted to bring that, elaborate more about it. If you guys don't.
No, that was honestly a huge selling point that you're right. I left out of the VIP program the fact that we're avoiding daisy chainers, and you don't have to waste your time with laptop wholesalers, because we have long-standing relations with wholesalers who are direct, right? Who are doing FSBOs. So we're not going to be getting a deal that has already somebody's added their 10K, another person's added their 10K, right? And it's just margin on top of margin, and then the value and the value of the deal is gone at that point.
We have to kiss 1,000 frogs before, like, the team have to talk to hundreds of wholesalers to only dance with 2 or 3. And just to give an example, one of our wholesalers has been with us for 10 years, and we've done at least close to 200 transactions. He's a gentleman. He's a guy that says, Jorge, this is worth this. Jorge, we're going to close on it. And we could go blindly that this is going to happen. So those are the type of connections that we have that the team has taken years to do. And I'll be quiet now. Cody, it's your show. I am so sorry.
No, you're good. You're adding value, so I'll allow it. Yeah, transparency is huge for us with our wholesalers, and we preach that, and we still, are always looking for more wholesale relations. So, when your agents are out there and you're talking to somebody, I'm always willing to talk to them. We vet them. Jorge will make the joke of, we date before we marry, right? Test the waters before we get into a long relationship with them. Make sure, we trust what they're providing and their word. So, it's all about relationships for us. Go ahead, Esther.
Yes, I just had another question in reference to you and Jorge have mentioned that the leads usually with the properties usually come from wholesalers. But what if us as agents have properties that would be a good fit for the program? What's our compensation in terms of that?
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because that brings me to my next slide, and we're going to get into compensation on the next one, but let's take baby steps in that direction. So
Sorry,
first,
getting
right?
ahead of myself.
No, you're good. No, you're good. We're going to get there. I know that most of you have questions on referrals and compensation and how that works. And I want to clarify that tonight so everybody's on
Wait,
the same page.
Corey, sorry, I know we've got a lot of questions for you. Probably you were thinking it was going to be quick, but it's not because we're
Right?
definitely interested in this. So, who is your ideal client then?
Right. Sorry, I did miss your question. So
Mhm.
I'll take a moment. Ideal client, right? To some of the points that Jorge said, we're not looking for the most analytical investor in the world, right? We want to look for somebody who is trying to look at the big picture, the long-term goal, take Jorge's expertise of what he's gathered over, X amount of years, and put some faith in us and rely and lean on the collective, right? We don't want per se the real estate investor who thinks who's done every transaction and they think they know everything just because we want a little give and take, right? And we want to be able to act and serve as the one-stop shop that we are. We want somebody who doesn't necessarily have all that time to be able to put into their real estate, right? So the people who have money in tech, right? If you don't, the biggest thing I wanted to open agents' eyes to tonight is, if they're not already, is don't just look for real estate investors. Look for people who may have, money burning a hole in their pocket that need tax breaks. That's Corey. He is our best VIP right now. He's easygoing. He's easy to work with. He needs to utilize funds. Otherwise, he's going to have massive tax hits at the end of the year. So he's a great example of our ideal client. Michael, anything to add?
Yes. So you mentioned cash or, them having funds. Is it a minimum that you look for clients when they come in? If they say, hey, I only have a certain amount, what is like that entry level that a good client could have? Is it 25K? Is it 50K? Because I know you don't want to waste time with the person that they're not ready for this right now.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely a valid question. I typically refer, when we start talking, money and lending, to Vanessa. My background's in lending, so I have a limited knowledge on what's needed, but she's obviously the expert. That 20 to 25% is what's needed, right? Closer to 25% because you want a buffer to get started. So I wouldn't say that typically anybody less than 50 grand is really going to be able to do much with us. But we're obviously eager to work with somebody, and we're not known as the biggest educators on real estate in Florida and definitely the Tampa Bay area for nothing, right? So we're trying to help people achieve their long-term goal of financial freedom through real estate. I'd be more than happy to talk to anybody who doesn't have enough funds to get started. But if I have the time, I'm always willing to talk to somebody who's like, where should I go? What's the baby steps to get in the right direction? And this is down the road, but we've been throwing around some ideas to try to do some JV options and creative financing options for investors who don't have enough capital, and maybe pair them together. Don't hold me to that. That's just, us throwing ideas out there to try to figure out how to work with a larger audience. All right. So with that, let's roll into our next slide here, getting permission to share property, and then we'll get into the commission breakdown. So getting permission to market, right? We send database emails on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Really, you need to know two things: confirm they're the owner, or confirm that they have said property under contract. Secondly, getting permission in writing from them that you have permission to market said property. This protects you from anybody coming after you, trying to sue you for, hey, you didn't have permission to market this property, yada, yada. I've heard it happens. We do this daily with wholesale partners, and incorporating it into our communication with property owners. It's a great opportunity for any agent here to get started with working with GA. Right. So let's say you may know a buyer who doesn't want to deal with listing a property on the MLS, doesn't want to deal with showings, doesn't want to deal with the whole extra process, etc. Kick it over to us and we can push it to the database. You're still going to earn your commission. right? You're still going to earn that percentage, which we'll go into a second. It's 2.5% or up to 2.5%, depending on the purchase price and depending on the deal. But really, we're going to do another training on this, so I don't want to take too much time to go into this. I want to roll into referrals and commission, but we'd love to start working closer with agents to find off-market deals, off-market properties, sellers who aren't wanting to list on the MLS and deal with the process, or maybe are in a rush, maybe are trying to push that property, get rid of it quicker. It's a great way for us to start to work together. Especially if you can find somebody who owns a good amount of properties. Once you create that relationship, whether they become a VIP or not, if you're bringing that investor to us, right? If they're your investor, you're going to earn commission on every single transaction that they're tied to moving forward, right? You just got to be the median and got to be sort of still involved, right? To always maintain that. But that's not hard to do, right? As long as Annie doesn't bring me a buyer and they're like, a year later, who is Annie Garcia? You know what I mean? She's always going to get her 2.5% every time. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I want to make sure everybody's on the same page. Everybody understands that, because that is how it is moving forward.
But Cody, so if we bring you the buyer, it's just got to make sure that it's one of those things that the buyer's not looking for top dollar, right?
Yeah.
Just wanted to clarify on that. It's not like, oh, I have a problem, seller. Sorry, I have a problem seller. Let me just dump it on Cody.
Yeah, no. So again, our buyers, right, our VIPs, if you're dealing with the seller side, our buyers are still looking for deals, right? Off market, below market value. So if it's something that they're trying to sell at MLS price or above, it's probably not something I can put time into, because you got to think of it from my perspective, right? If I'm going to put a property in the database email and send it to our investors, the biggest thing that I think about is this disrespecting our investors, right? Because they're coming to us for the benefits we have of finding the deals at value, right? Wherever that's through. So yes, to answer your question, not top dollar. But thank you for your question. And then I think that's a good segue to roll into how the commissions and the referrals work, right? So in the majority of transactions, you will earn the full 2.5%. We put up to 2.5% because in certain situations it will be subject to change due to certain factors, right? And I just kind of thought of a good example that I wanted to share with you, just so you have clarity on this. So let's take, for example, let's say there's a property at 500K is the price point. 500K is the price point. Let's say this is a wholesaler in this situation bringing us this property. You're going to bring the buyer as the agent. We have a margin of, let's say, $20,000 on that property. Your commission being 2.5% in that situation would equate on 500K to $12,500 as your commission. That would then result in a profit for the acquisitions department as a whole of $7,500. Our goal generally is to make no less than $10,000 to $15,000 in each transaction. We're more than willing to be flexible, and we want everybody to be happy and satisfied, especially when collaborating. But this is why the up to 2.5% is in place. And this, of course, is going to be negotiated between GA and that agent to ensure we can come to, a mutual agreement that makes everyone happy. We're more than willing to be flexible. Any money is better than no money, but I also want you guys to understand that $7,500 profit for the acquisitions department doesn't go, into Cody's pocket, right? There's the acquisition department expenses monthly that we have to cover, right? And then it gets divvied, the margin gets divvied through after that. So I just wanted to provide some additional clarity on why that up to is there. But in most cases, it's going to be 2.5%. We don't really do a lot of 500K, but in that outlier situation, I felt it was important to address. I think me and Esther may have talked about that in the past. So hopefully that provides a little bit more clarity. And then when you refer a VIP client, right, you're going to earn $1,000 referral bonus if we sign that VIP client. Now, I would appreciate, of course, you guys understanding your role in that as far as utilizing some of the information I've shared in tonight's presentation. And again, you're going to have this to refer to at a later time. But I really, I wouldn't love to get leads where, hey, you know, this is my first introduction to acquisitions. This is my buy box. And if I'm explaining the entirety of the VIP package to them, right, I appreciate the lead, but I just want you guys to be doing some of that selling to where when they get to me, for you to earn that $1,000 commission, right? I want you guys to earn it, right? I just want to send the VIP agreement so I can focus on moving and doing what I have to do for properties moving through the pipeline on a weekly basis, right? And also bringing in more buyers. So I hope that makes sense. But $1,000 referral bonus for VIPs, and then up to 2.5% on every real estate transaction they do moving forward. You're always tied to that buyer. We track it in Monday, right? So Joe Smith dash referred by Annie Garcia. Any transaction they do, you're getting paid out on. Make sense? Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Awesome. All right. Any questions? Anything you want to ask that I haven't gone over? You want some additional clarity on?
Well, while everybody is thinking of these awesome, amazing questions, we want to say thank you to Cody for breaking the program down. I think you made it clear and plain to us today. So if you have any questions further, just simply, Cody, how can they get in touch with you? Let me ask you that. What's the best way?
Yeah, so I think every agent has had a phone call with me, so I hope everybody has my number saved. I've tried to do my best to make contact and introduce myself to everybody, but I'll go ahead and drop my email for, you know, communicating potential buyers with me, as well as my personal cell phone number, so that you can stay in touch with me. And again, I just want to take a second before anybody has any questions to thank everybody again for giving me some of their time tonight. Really means a lot. Really appreciate all of you for being here. And I'd love some feedback too on the presentation. Anything you think I could have improved or done differently. So all feedback is more than welcome.
Okay, so we do have a couple more questions. I just want to say the one word I keep hearing from our VIPs is team. Everyone's looking for a team right now. So right now, if you went out and invested, you knew a wholesaler, you may not know someone in property management. You may not know someone that's in lending. So that ideal client that they explained may just not have the time. There's plenty of professionals out there that would just love to invest their money and sit back and say, these are the experts, and I'm going to let them do it. So we see that all the time, that they want the one-stop shop, come in, let the experts handle it. And that's the most powerful thing. And that makes you a consultant as well, not just an agent. You can hand it over to them and they're going to take care of that transaction for you. But you still want to be involved. You still want to talk to your client and make sure everything's aligned, and you just don't drop them off like, you know, kids at the daycare. So just want to put that in there too. So we do have a couple of more questions. We have Annie. I think Corey had a question as well.
No,
All
I
right,
just go ahead.
go
Andy.
ahead, Jorge. Well, I just wanted to ask, okay, because I do want to make sure we earn our $1,000, Corey. So where is this marketing material housed, you know, to help us explain it to them as we're talking to folks?
And I'd be always more than open to helping, you know, on one-on-one trainings with this when I have time as well. I know I've spoken to a few of you guys before on sort of how I do the VIP pitch. If you want to do a Calendly one-on-one with me, I'll also drop my Calendly link below here. So feel free to do that. And then I think Michael has a PDF version with more detail than this presentation has. There's 2 versions of it. And he's going to share that with us, I believe. Right, Mike?
Yeah,
Awesome.
You'll be able to find that in the company announcements after the presentation. So
Okay.
it will be there.
Awesome.
Also,
Thank you.
Cody, here's a question. Are there recordings available from when you initially talked to these potential VIPs? I've heard there's some recordings out there.
There are. What is the group called? Audio trainings, I believe, on WhatsApp. So if you want to be included in that, there's some of my pitches towards VIP clients. You'll hear some enthusiasm in those clips towards the end. And then there's some really, really good ones from Jorge in there as well. So if you want to be added to that, to where you have access to how I or Jorge will pitch a VIP or present Greystone Investment Group, as a whole to a potential investor, feel free to just throw something in the comments or email or WhatsApp, I guess. And that applies to MLOs too. I know you guys have good connections out there. This presentation tonight isn't just for agents, and I really appreciate you guys also being here. Yep. Go ahead, Jeanette. Did you have a question, or was that a thumbs up attempt? And if you want to try to take yourself off mute, maybe. Just a second to think if she is. Well,
I think she's left the meeting.
she's either attempting or on her way out. But thank you, Tony. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Najib, for being here. Thank you, Marilyn, for being here as well. Lisa, I know y'all aren't agents per se. Appreciate y'all showing up. Means a lot. I think Esther may have had a question, and I know Jorge's hand went up as well. For any last questions before Michael may have something for us?
No, Corey, I had a change of heart. Thanks anyways.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So I think that may be all the questions tonight. I just want to let you guys know there's 40,000 plus people in our database. And, many of them are still finding out about this program. And if you want access to call some of those and reach out to some of those potential leads, very important that you understand what this program is, listen to the recordings, talk to myself and Jorge so we can give you access to that to be able to properly communicate this program to everyone. So I just want to remind everyone that next week we have another training called the Unqualified Buyers Pipeline. And that's going to be presented by Angelique Soto. She's going to be here and she's going to tell you how to get those clients that maybe have some credit challenges and bring them back to you to fill your pipeline up as an agent. So this is going to be super, super powerful. It's going to be great for you or any kind of other agents that you may know. And it's going to be right here at 6 o'clock next Thursday. So please be here, because you're going to hear some more awesome presentations. So we thank you for being here tonight. If you have more questions, please reach out. Make sure you're doing those one-on-ones with all your leadership team and continue to represent Greystone. Remember, Greystone, you invest, we do the rest. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Nice.
guys.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
It was amazing, Cody.
Thank you,
Good job.
guys.
Thank you.
Great job, Cody.
Thank you,
Great
Corey.
stuff.
Thank you,
Great job, Cody.
Appreciate you. Thank you all for coming. And Jorge left today without his coffee card too. So.
Hey, I'm still here.